feel like since I've been in the home studio here. Uh, I know we've done a couple recordings here over the last few weeks. I've been in and out, which has been a really nice start to the summer. And so, lots going on. It's good to be back. I can tell you that. And yeah, looking forward to the conversation today. If you are not aware, this, really candidly, the last, I don't know, few weeks slash month has been dedicated to AI. And there's a real, very deliberate reason for that, that we really see that for anybody out there, if you're in sales right now and you are a knowledge worker, right? You are someone whose value is in, unique information that you have up here. AI is going to come for some of these jobs, right? And analysts roles like that. But I can also tell you, sales is not going to be immune to this. And so I am going to continue to talk about the importance of AI in sales, what you all need to do to stay at the forefront and not, just like, oh yeah, that's interesting. I can tell you, it's like when I have those conversations with sales leaders, and I'm like, look, let's sit down and do a roundtable. We're going to kick off. I think I talked about this before, and I totally dropped the ball. These exact roundtables on Tuesdays, I talked about. Let me make a note to self here. Even I drop balls sometimes. Yes, my team might like snip at this and be like, oh look, Jake said that he dropped balls. Um, so anyway, so exact roundtable on AI, whatever. Leader joined me as well too for that. What's up, Timothy? Glad you made it. Everyone else, thanks for tuning in. We've got about 20 or so folks as of now. And we usually get a few hundred that'll join us. So today's topic is if you are in sales today, how should you be thinking about AI reshaping your role? Okay. And I can just tell you, again, I think a lot of people, a lot of the use cases that I see right now, and as usual, I forgot to say this. Make sure drop in the chat where you're joining from, what your role is. Are you more on the leadership side? Are you more on the front line side? I'm always down. I can make some of my questions or some of my points more applicable to all of you as well too. Um, Caroline Raffi, what's up, Caroline? I have to jump. Yes, this is being recorded. You can come back and watch this after we're done. So do not worry, Caroline. You can come back and take a look at what we're going to talk about. Okay. So again, as I get into some of these things, there is no doubt that I think we all realize AI is different, and I will be, I've been wrong about certain technologies before. I'm not going to lie, or your applications of technologies. My most famous one, Scott Leese likes to remind me of, is LinkedIn stories. I was convinced LinkedIn stories was going to be like that. But I think we all know the difference, that AI is a little bit different than LinkedIn stories. Let's be honest. And what I'm seeing is, it's very interesting, is, the B2B world, there's a lot of these AIs, and I'm just gonna use air quote AIs, that were like, "We write emails based on disk templates," or, "We write emails that are better ABC," and some of them, we've been messing with all of them. Some of them are, like, pretty decent, but they're still not the silver bullet. They're not actually generating, like, it's not like teams are like, "Okay, we implemented an AI tool for our outbound, and all of a sudden we started hitting quota." Like, just so you know, I'm not hearing those stories. And that's why I think it's important that we think about AI should allow us to never hit send all again in most of these cases, right? And that we've got to be a little bit faster in embracing these tools. And I'm going to talk about some of those areas today. Okay, so number one area, and I'm just going to copy and paste some stuff into the chat so y'all can see it across. What's up, Tim Spitz, coming from the Triangle. Joseph in Austin, what's up? I'm in Austin as well too. You can tell I have the air conditioning running. It's like 103 already. I played pickleball for an hour and a half this morning. It was very hot. Um, so we've got Zeke from San Benito. All right, so another Texan jumping in the mix here. Love that. So all right, so let me give you all some of these, and I'm gonna drop. I got to drop it into two different chats because it's just a pain in the butt that you can't just drop it into one. Where's LinkedIn? Here it is. Okay, so very first way that I want all of you to think about AI. I did a post on this last week, and if you didn't see it, go back and look. I want to say it was on Thursday. Okay. Um, for those of you who didn't see it, what I said is this: AI does not equal automation. Yes, AI will be able to automate some very specific things. That part's going to be great, but please just instead think of it in a completely different way, right? Um, everyone's been talking about the idea of like personalization at scale, which is kind of a it just really was like people using form fields and hitting send all. With AI, we can actually do it. And so what are some of the ways that you can do that? Research. There is no reason. Again, I think a lot of people, we had these email templates and we wanted, we wanted people to, adjust the email template, but then we were like, it takes too much time. With Chat GPT or Bard, I have not messed around with Bard. I know that I said I'd mess with Bard. Let me put that on my to do. Jake to do. Mess around with Bard for 2 hours. Done. I will do that. I will report back. My to do list. Okay. Um, all right. We got Steven from Uganda joining us. Steven, hearts and prayers to everything going on in Uganda right now. It's very, very heartbreaking. So, Steven, glad you're following along with us for sure. So, think about research. Okay. And when you think about what this can allow you to do is, especially if you've got some of the browser plugins, there's some browser plugins. For those of you who don't know, ChatGPT only goes up to the end of 2021, but you can feed it links. You can say, "Hey, I work with a company, or I work at a company that sells into these types of companies. What are some of the top value props I could bring up?" Something like that. "Hey, I sell into this job persona. This is my role. This is what I do. What are some potential ways that it might work out, or that they might have questions about like what we do?" So just think of that. Those to me are kind of like the absolute no-brainer like use cases are around prep. If I'm a rep, I'm trying to have a really, really good first conversation. It's really just like a massive part of it. Next is sales process. Okay. So, and I talked about some of these other ones as well, and I'm going to talk a little bit about LinkedIn. Um, and here we go. How to augment different parts of the sales process. So I just dropped that in the chat. Let me drop it both places because I have to do that for whatever reason. Also, the bullets don't show up, so it is kind of a pain. So, okay, sales process. So prep. I talked about prep, obviously. What about a follow up email? What about, okay, I had a meeting with these people. Here's how the meeting went. Here's where they're again. Like this goes back to it, guys. Just think about this. Think super big picture. You can literally tell, the bot, say, "Look, here is the meeting I had. These people were involved. This is what their personalities were like. These were some of their questions. This is some of the way we solved those questions. This is my concern in terms of where they're thinking about the process. Write me a follow-up email." I mean, this is amazing. Tim, where else? I think it should be streaming on YouTube. I don't know. I know it's streaming on the Scaled channel too. Yes, and Tim also asked about different plugins. Yeah, so I literally just downloaded Zapier, the Zapier plugin, and I downloaded the web browser plugin. So my Chat GPT will surf the web as well. So, and just so you all know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, all you have to do if you want to get access to the other plugins for ChatGPT, bookmark this right here. A lot of people don't know. You have to you basically tell them that you want to create a developer account and like, "Hey, do you want to get in on beta, whatever? Create a developer account." And then you're like, "Yeah, I'm going to develop something." And then I got access to the plugins in like less than a day. So you have to tell them that you want to create an account. So again, just think about this. Like, the amount of amazing follow-up that you could have, and even just you could just, like, be role playing with it in real time too. There's a lot of these, like, battle card bots that, like, show you what to say when someone brings up the competition, but, I think any good seller knows when someone brings up the competition, you don't immediately go, "Oh, well, let me tell you how we can do that." And if you do that, please stop. It's not a good look, in terms of what can actually move the needle. Okay. So again, I'm just gonna do this. You guys are gonna. love. You guys are gonna love this one. Okay. So I talked a little bit about prep. So think so you got your prep for the meeting, prep for future meetings in the sales process. Just just be specific. Just literally explain to it your situation like it's a friend. I'm a this person. This is my rep. I'm not very senior. I want to sound more professional, or I am very senior and I need to be more casual, whatever the thing is. Okay. So, I want you to just think about that in particular as a part of this. So, the next one, and I love this use case too for all my sellers. Okay. Okay, is LinkedIn strategy. Okay. So for those of you, and again, feel free, just so you all know, if this is your first time joining us, at the end of this, we usually spend at least 5-10 minutes in Q&A. If there's questions you have, be selfish. That's one of my favorite sayings I stole from Gary Vee. Be selfish. Think about whatever's going through your head. Like, Jake, man, like I can't even fat. Because for me, it's like I told someone, it's like I feel like I'm taking like mushrooms every day, where it's like what I thought of the universe is now like much different. I'm like, holy crap, I can do this now. I can do this now. I can do this now. And so I think, again, tuning into sessions like this is critical for any of your development. Okay. So now let's talk about LinkedIn thought leadership. So, a lot of you, Jake, I'm not sure what to write on LinkedIn. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. There's no excuse, right? So you can see here, like I dropped in the ability to create a content calendar. It's a really easy one. And then you can train it. What you do is you create one thread that's all like, this is my LinkedIn post thread. And it's like, okay, here's my website of what my company does. Here's an example of a company we sell into. Here's the job titles that I sell into. Um, based on this trend, and you could tell it a trend in the market, write me a LinkedIn post. And then you could say, make the LinkedIn post more direct, make it more casual. Make it, you can tell it to really do anything. So just think of like you're prepping for all these meetings to get up to speed on an industry. It's helping you to write better communication during the sales process. And you're using it to help to establish yourself as a thought leader. And again, you have all the ideas. Think of all AI is doing is to help to sometimes pull the ideas out of you. You can just ask it to ask you questions. Like, hey, ask me 5 questions that will help you write a better LinkedIn post for CFOs in industrial manufacturing, and it will start asking you questions and then write a LinkedIn post based on your answers. So just think about your ability. I mean, this is the part that I think most sales leadership in particular, if you're a sales leader, listen to me, please. I don't think you quite realize how this can help your team to ramp as fast as humanly possible. I really think that we're going to be able to help people ramp, in 3 to 4 weeks instead of 3 to 4 months. I can get someone up and running, sounding like a thought leader, getting them immersed in what somebody's going through almost overnight, right? Okay. Certainly, last but not least, this is for all my innovative leaders out there. If you all do not subscribe, and I'll toot my own horn to some extent here. If you all do not subscribe to my Modern Leader newsletter, it's crazy. It's growing like 1,000 subscribers a month or so. Let me see if I got a couple links here I'll share for you all. I also have an upcoming webinar on Thursday, Humans and Robots, 5 strategies to save outbound using AI. Obviously, we got the podcast. If you don't subscribe to the podcast, I don't know what you're doing there. But the last 2 I want to talk about here, and here's a couple links for you all. Make sure sign up. Thursday is the Vidyard talk as well. I will tell you, this is probably one of my favorite use cases, which is for leadership, the quality of the conversations and deal advice and management. Okay, so I want all of you to think about this one. Can we test the theory? Yeah, you can test whatever theory you want. Be more specific, because I'm not sure on which theory you want to test. So quality of conversations, my friends. Yes, of course you can test this on ramping reps. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. We're literally trying to implement this into everybody's onboarding plan, and half our clients are like, "Yeah, it could be interesting." It's like it could be interesting. Every sales organization needs to completely rewrite their onboarding plan. Like whatever you were doing before is like Stone Age shit. It's like sticks and kindling, and I've got like a smoker over here. Like this thing can just cook much different. So anyway, the other one that I want to talk about here is quality of conversations. Um, you can be the test subject. All right, let's get Tim a job. And then Tim, I'm down for us to do like some sessions. I actually like this idea. And we can see if we can get Tim up to speed. But it's gonna have to be like other reps that we can compare it to. So then we have a control group, which I think, important too. So, all right. Um, from my side here, looking at this last one, if I'm a leader and I want to be a better leader, my friends, AI is here for you. I what is pathetic to me, it is literally pathetic, um, is how little leadership training we give to frontline sales leaders. It's like we invest all this in this, but all this in frontline, but the people that impact 10 people's lives every day, there's no formal program. And so we've actually got some pretty cool things in the work. Um, and actually, one of our clients, SEMrush, if you're in the marketing world, you know them, talk about a company that's really doing the opposite here and investing in their leadership program. Shout out to those folks. They're doing a really phenomenal job, Channing, Trish, and their whole leadership team. Um, but what AI is really good at is, again, deal advice. Hey, I've got this situation. Hey, how do I have a better conversation with my boss? How do I have a better conversation with my coworker? AI can help you with all these things. So if I'm in sales and I'm trying to improve my game, hey, and again, just think what you want to do with all this. So a big important part of everything I'm talking about, just again, I've talked about this before, but I'll just say it for all of those who AI might be new to you. Okay. Um, how the chat GPT and other threads work is each thread is kind of like its own brain. So it's not going to remember things across all the threads. Now there's some different like hacks that you could potentially do around copy and paste and maybe some plugins. I don't know if there are plugins for this. So what you want to do is create threads that are similar enough to where you can train the thread. We'll get into some later date how you can do your own training on the back end to impact your entire quality of responses. But for the most part, just think different topics keeping different threads. So you could imagine a thread if you're a sales rep. You are my sales manager now. Congratulations, you've been promoted. You are now my boss. Here's everything you need to know about sales, like what we do. Here's a link to our product page. Here's where I feel like I'm strong and where I need coaching. Um, here's my last like performance review. Help me to write a 60-day coaching plan to get better at this topic. I mean, every sales leader, you can use this as well too. But I'm just telling you all, this to me is again the future and the possibility of what this means for the sales force of tomorrow. It's not just writing you a better email. It's everything. It's everything from how we prep, how we get up to speed on an industry, how we get up to speed on a buyer persona, how we do our prep for the meeting to have a higher quality first conversation, how we interact with people after the meeting, how we write LinkedIn posts at scale, right? How we then throughout the process, coach and get better as sales reps. My friends, AI is going to make all of your lives exponentially easier, but you have to do something about it now. I am telling you right now, there's going to be a world of have and have nots in the next few years that is knowledge workers, right? So this isn't your typical, working class white collar. It's going to be the opposite. It's that there is going to be a big divide, uh, people that are able to do so much more because they practice using these tools now and people that chose not to. So for anyone out there, again, every week, every Monday, I'm talking about these topics. I just dropped in there. Join me on Thursday. Not just me, there's some other really, really great speakers there at Vidyard's Fast Forward event. I mean, we're only talking about this stuff. And again, I'm telling you, invest in yourself. Now is the time. I was talking to a group of VPs the other day. These are people that are very tenured. And it's like, Jake, I'm drinking from a fire hose. I'm doing this, and I told them, I said, guys, I get that. I go, you've got to create time. You have to create, and we're going to be coming out with some frameworks, some different ways that'll be easier for people to do that as well too. So I hope this helps some of you out there. Gives you at least some new ideas. Feel free. I've got a couple of questions from last week and the week before that I'm going to jump into. If you have questions, I'll keep monitoring. So let me know. Some of these are around AI, some aren't. But let's jump into some of the questions. This one's from Sam. I get asked quite a bit, Jake, how do you grow your following? And I think one of the most important mindsets that I have around this is that it's not about just more followers, more followers. It's about curating the right audience. So I'll tell you right now, if I was sitting in your shoes and I wanted to grow an audience that is relevant to me, okay, I want to double exclamation point that you all should really just care about, even if the maximum size of your audience is 10,000 people in the world, that's all the people that matter because you sell this one niche thing. You know, too many people are trying to focus on getting followers or being famous or getting likes, but they're not getting people that actually are gonna, like get value necessarily from what they're talking about or move the needle for them or their own business. So if you said, Jake, how could you get, let's call it 3,000, 5,000 followers, the right type of followers in 60 days, I'm gonna give you all my 60-day kind of like how to. Okay, number one is this: understand that LinkedIn purposely, it's insane, right? It hurts people like me who have, almost 80,000 followers. LinkedIn actually has part of its algorithm designed to support people with like under 10,000 followers. So just know by putting out content consistently, right? That's going to be formula part one is, even if I'm talking about 2 or 3 times a week. And again, you can go to Chat GPT, you could enter in your buyer persona, you could feed it an ebook. Hey, take a look at this ebook. Help me to write a LinkedIn post that would be relevant to this audience. Great. So step one is you have to start to produce content. LinkedIn is going to artificially push you out to more than just what somebody even like me who's got a lot more followers reaches. You've got to produce content consistently. Number two is you have to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to max out your connection requests every single day. LinkedIn will let you connect between 20 to 30 people a day, just depending on how many you've connected with in the week. So curate a list of the people you want to be your connections and followers. So if you sell to, directors of talent acquisition, build a list out in LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You go to LinkedIn, you go to lead list, you can add in a whole bunch of job titles, you can add in the company sizes, you can add in the industries, and just start growing your network. So when you put those two things together, you start producing content, then you get more of the right people seeing it. LinkedIn is the only platform for every person that likes a post or comments, it goes on their feed and everyone can see that they liked or commented. And so that's what happens. So if just by maxing out your connection requests, you're going to get over the course of 60 days another few thousand followers. But how you're going to get to 5,000 followers is by putting out content that then their other peers in the industry see, and then they follow you as well too. So my friends, it's not crazy. It's not, it's not some viral post that's going to do it. It's putting in the work every day on those two things. So for anyone out there, again, mindset wise, think about it that way. I am trying to grow my professional network. I'm trying to grow my reputation with people that matter. And then just consistency. This stuff we're talking about a few hours a week. And again, with Chat GPT, it could sure help you to write some of this content or to tweak some of it for you as well too. So that's my advice. Anyone trying to, grow their, digital reputation, content, max out connection requests. So that's what I've got for you today. One, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure, if you don't know, you can hit the bell, especially for those of you if you're on LinkedIn. You can hit the bell, and then you'll get notified every time that I post. It'll go straight to your feed, and you'll get the notification as well. So make sure you subscribe, and we will see you all. We're going to be back on our regular Monday schedule starting next week. So as usual, if you need anything, shoot me a DM, and we will see you all in the next one.